Good morning. This message is all about love and, real love, a universal love, a love of all that is, and a love that goes beyond human, plant, just that is for all that is, for life. I'm filming this first thing in the morning because I actually wanted to film this yesterday. I spent all day kind of like trying to fit it in at different moments, and then something kept happening all day. And then when I finally went to film it, I was tired, and also there was so much noise. So this morning it's like nice and quiet, and I wanted to film before the noise starts. So this week, March 20th to 24th, the sun is transiting through gate 25, which is called Innocence, the gate of the spirit of the self. The subtitle of this gate is the perfection of action through uncontrived and spontaneous nature. So, if you think about it, that's exactly what innocence is. It's just this perfect action that just comes out, that is uncontrived, and it's spontaneous, and it really expresses the spirit of the self. When we're at our most innocent and our most natural, just who we are comes out of us without thinking about it. And I feel like that's part of the essence of this gate and the beauty of innocence and really being who we are. So this is an individual gate, which means that, and actually it's a part of the channel 2551, which links the ego center to the G center. And the 25 is in the G center, which is the G center is the kind of diamond shaped square in the middle of the chart. And it is really the center of identity, love, and direction. But when it's linked to gate 51, the gate of shock, in the ego, this becomes this initiating force, which means sometimes that we go through shocking initiations that bring us more truthfully into our nature, into who we really are, and into a love of life and a love of ourselves. So people that have that whole channel need to learn to kind of endure these shocks in their life that take them into greater initiations of who they are. And I've definitely witnessed that over time with people that have this channel, 2551. Actually, there's a Cuban man here that has it, and like the other day he told me that I had gotten fat. Like, it's more of a Latin thing to say. Like, I said, oh, you look like you've gotten slimmer since the last time I was here. And he said, oh, you look like you got fatter. And I did feel a little bit of a shock from that. But that was him just being his uncontrived, spontaneous nature. But the initiation part of that whole channel is the idea that we get initiated into further becoming who we are, into our individualization. And that is what this gate 25 is about. It's about becoming more you, and more of an expression of acceptance of really who you are, and of love. So those of us that really accept and love who we are, we become permission slips for other people to become loving and accepting of who they are. And it really does have a ripple effect. As I film this video, I keep thinking of Devin Wright, who has this channel. He's an ego projector that basically only has the channel 2551 defined in his chart. And so he's really a great example of the channel, but also the gate. And there's just so much beauty about who he is and how he is like this walking emissary of love. And it's just very natural, and it's not something he does. It's just something he is. And I guess it's more of an energy and a frequency than anything. So, and I think that's what human design, why personally I've been captivated by it, is because I can see the frequencies in the people that have these energies. I myself don't have gate 25 defined, but I have felt the resonance of this gate through the people that I know that do have it. So it's a really beautiful energy, and I think it's a beautiful thing that we get to be under the influence of this opportunity to become more who we are, to accept ourselves and to love ourselves. I was looking at the gene keys. The shadow of gate 25 is constriction. And constriction is how we block ourselves from expanding and opening into love and acceptance. So the gift of this is acceptance, and then the siddhi is love. So it's interesting because I've been working a lot on releasing tension in my shoulders and neck, and it is through breath and like expanding and releasing that constriction. That's the focus. So it's like, oh, these are areas where we didn't allow in love, where fear took over and where we became constricted. So perhaps this week we'll find that some of our constrictions are shown to us, and then we get to love and accept them and allow them to be seen and to be loved, and maybe perhaps to shift a little bit. Okay, so I'll channel for us now. So remember, this is not just the words, this is also the frequencies, and they can shift something for you. So if you can allow yourself to really receive on many levels here, the more you can get out of this and receive from it. Also, I'd really appreciate if you comment and share what you do receive, because I think sometimes the process of giving words to it can anchor it in more fully in ourselves, but it can also help others to see what they received as well. Be a conduit for the spirit of love through your individuality. And this is really the beauty of this opportunity to be you, is that each of you gets to express love in a unique way that would only come through you. For example, this fellow who called me, Karen, gordita, referring that I had gained some weight, he said it with love, and also there was also humor, and it was a very funny moment. And that was a true expression of individuality of him that would only come through him in that moment. And this, in a way, this idea that we get to each be a conduit for the spirit of love to move through us in a completely unique way, it means that as we move through this world, we are just a dance of love, an interplay of love in such a unique way, in such a rainbow, in such a textured and flavored interplay. And there are some places and settings that allow for this interplay in a more obvious and dynamic way. versus other places where it's more stagnant, or there's less room for this innocence to come up, this uncontrived, spontaneous nature to just flow forward because of how life is built and life is structured and the way that people are operating in it. By its very nature, this influence of innocence is destructive, really, to structures that would keep us constricted, to structures that would keep us doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Innocence releases, innocence liberates, creates this freedom. So you may find yourself wanting to shift things and make some changes and just release stagnant, stuck ways of doing things. And just allow yourself to make some shifts and changes and allow things to just get a little bit tousled up, mixed up. There's a fear of being uncontrived and spontaneous. Fear of what might happen if I were to just really be me and I didn't control or measure my expression. What might I do? Who might I be? What might happen? And we would urge you to find out what might happen, who you would be, what you would do. Because in the process of finding out, you get to find out who you are. And to love yourself. Okay, so coming back, I'm hoping that the battery just ran out in my camera, so I'm hoping it caught the end of that message, but if it didn't, the message was basically that, we fear our own spontaneous, contrived nature, and because we don't know what will come out of us, we don't know what will happen if we're not measured and controlled, and maybe we'll say something or do something that we don't know what the effect will be. And then the encouragement was, find out who you are when you're not controlling, when you're not constricting. Just find out, and then you get to love that about yourself. So personally, I'm a real big fan of individuality. I feel like even though I don't have this gate at 25, I really do express my individuality almost invariably, uncontrollably. And it does upset people, especially people with a lot of tribal circuitry, because I don't follow the norms of what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to be, according to people's standards. I got a message this week from someone saying, you should be more loving and more compassionate. But I know that's not my truth. My truth is that as an individual with the entire integration circuit, there's times that integration circuitry doesn't sound nice and compassionate sometimes. That part of me is most interested in empowerment, and we get to be individuals, and that's part of the joy of it all. Well, I guess I had a lot to say today, and I'm really so happy to visit with you in this little time together. Let me know how it resonates, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye.